even after going through 99 failed rescue attempts. Every single shot ends the same, Damie dies again and again. This all kicked off when people started turning into flesh-hungry corpses, dragging the world straight into chaos. One determined guy, Minsuk, threw himself into the fire, trying everything to shield his daughter from the apocalypse, but none of it worked. And before long, both of them ended up 6 feet under. But instead of clocking out for good, he gets snatched by a goddess who hands him 99 do-overs. Yup, he's allowed to die 99 times and keep trying, just to make it out alive. From zero, he starts his journey to keep Damie alive one more time. And so begins a brutal, never-ending rewind loop of death and retry. Every time he resets, he gives it his all to avoid the same screw-ups, but somehow still fails. But this man never taps out. He hangs on, locked into one mission. Even if it takes him reliving the same nightmare 10,000 more times, he'll keep pushing just for a shot at saving Damie. One life away from his last shot, he stumbles upon a heavily defended military base that could have been their safe zone. But by the time he makes it, he's already too late. Damie's gone. Instead of jumping to his next death, he just gives in, accepts it, and chooses to live out the rest of his life like any other survivor. But even after years roll by, that fire in him, it never dims. Eventually, the hunger to see Damie again drives him to end it himself, cashing in his final life. Standing there, freshly respawned and fully equipped for one last shot, Minsuk flashes back to that same base to John. He remembers how every timeline ended with him arriving solo, and it's all because of the dumb mistakes he made along the way. But now, he's not the same guy. This time, he's stacked with every bit of intel and grit he's gained from 98 brutal resets. He swears he's not gonna blow it. He slowly pulls open the gate, locked in and ready to head to Dijon for real. But what he sees next totally wrecks his plan. Unlike before when the street was chill, this time it's packed. Zombies flooding in like it's Black Friday and someone dropped a PS5. He's frozen. This is completely new. In 99 lives, this has never happened. And before he can even finish his mental commentary, the dead are already on him. That's when Damie yells, snapping him out of it. He immediately shoves her inside the house and slams the door, staying outside as bait to stall them. She's screaming at him, begging to let her out. But Minsuk's made up his mind. This one-man wall ain't budging. Even as they tear him apart, he's stone-faced. This pain, he's eaten worse. He's died almost 100 times. This isn't enough to break him. As his body crumbles, flashbacks hit him, moments when Damie was just a baby, sitting in his arms. And the way he loved her back then, it hasn't changed one bit. That father-daughter bond sparks something deep inside. No way he's letting these mindless things finish him like this. Suddenly, something inside flips. Power surges through him like he's hit God mode. He stands, then hurls a pile of zombies off like they're trash bags on cleaning day. Our dad just went from exhausted husk to full-on superhero, all thanks to one thing, love. One zombie dares to step up. Wrong move. Minsuk bulldozes the horde like they're tissue paper. One bites him. He bites back 10 times harder. At the same time, he punches clean through another corpse's chest. Then full anime mode. He slams that zombie into the pavement. Yeah, I guess truck comes off duty today and this dad's doing the job. Even the other walkers start backing off like, we messed with the wrong dad. Now he's out here glowing with aura, shredded like a final boss. One death glare from this dad is enough to make the zombies rethink all their life choices. Meanwhile, Damie's finally calming down inside the house. As the door creaks open, sunlight floods in. What she sees makes her heart skip. Her dad alive, standing strong, built like a demigod, muscles carved like sculpture, radiating raw power. Basically, every single mom within a mile radius just got weak in the knees. By the way, if you're loving this so far, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and help us hit 1K subs. Come join the Truck Kun family, we're building something epic. Fast forward to day 7 of the outbreak. Now we jump to Seoul. Specifically Mapo District. Why that matters, you're about to find out. There's a grocery bunker called Amart and it's a war zone. Next thing we know, a bunch of soldiers are standing guard outside looking furious. They're questioning how 2 people even made it here, considering the whole district is basically zombie city. In the shadows, Minsuk walks closer, while one hot-headed soldier looks like he's about to go nuclear. Oh, and all of them, yeah, they've got their guns locked right on our guy. Their leader demands to know what the hell happened to his face, then randomly guesses Minsuk must be some big-shot influencer just because of the shades. Weird logic, but hey, at least it's not bullets. Then stepping into the frame for the first time comes the badass known as Chahiri. She's not playing games. Nicknamed the Black Widow, and honestly, feels like Natasha switched universes after Endgame. Anyway, she tells them both to scram and makes it super clear, this place isn't their safe zone. She gets all up in Minsuk's face just to say beat it. But as she throws attitude their way, Minsuk's mood starts shifting. Because right behind him, Damie's health is tanking fast. He says they've been drifting around with no destination for a full week now, and Damie's asthma is starting to get real bad. Cut to the chase, he starts pleading with Chahiri to help his kid, and thanks to his next-level drama skills, Minsuk even throws in the line that he's cool with dying, as long as Damie's okay. That whole Dad of the Year act stuns Chahiri for a split second. Then she immediately gets ticked off. Even Egghead from earlier is like, seriously, that's your move, Minsuk. Especially since their boss is a total ice queen who couldn't care less about feelings. Then we hit the comedy gold of this whole chapter. Egghead turns to look, and boom, his jaw hits the floor the moment he catches a glimpse of Chahiri's face. She's clearly fighting back emotion after hearing Minsuk's story, and ends up changing her mind on the spot. Chahiri lets the two of them in, claiming they need more hands to help out. But let's be real, we all know that's not the actual reason. Deep down, turns out the stone-cold leader's got a bit of a heart. Let's break down what really just happened here. Minsuk's pulling peak manipulator moves for real. Dude literally grins seeing how predictable Chahiri still is. In one of his past loops, he figured out she's an ex-soldier. Even after hanging up the uniform, she stepped up, gathered a bunch of survivors, and risked it all to guard their safe zone. On the surface, she's straight-up ruthless. You could compare her to a venomous snake and it'd still be an understatement. But she's got one soft spot, hearing tragic dad stories about putting their kids first. And Minsuk played that card like a master. Still, Damie's not thrilled at all about the stunt he pulled. She hated the part where he made it seem like she didn't matter to him. But she keeps up the whole weak act, wheezing like a broken engine. Even one of the soldiers is getting annoyed. But truth is, Minsuk's the only one who sees what's really going on. He knows her mental state right now is rock bottom, worse than any of the past timelines. Top priority, make sure she's safe no matter what. What's bugging him hard right now are the two wild curveballs in this run. Because this is the only loop where the past week played out differently. And there's also him, he got bitten, and instead of dying he somehow powered up. Like his body's turning into something else entirely. At this point, calling Minsuk a zombie wouldn't even sound that crazy. Now back to early game survival tactics. This mart they're at, it's loaded with food and essentials. Not only that, it's got heavy security holding the line. Oddly enough, there's a wrecked building nearby and that wasn't there in previous loops. Minsuk points it out and the soldier gives him this side-eye like, dude, are you clairvoyant or what? Anyway, the guy spills what went down 3 days ago. Out of nowhere, a swarm of undead hit them hard. And Chahiri, being the hard carry she is, pulled off the craziest bait move, lured every single zombie into that exact building. Then boom, she used explosives pre-planted inside to blow the whole thing to hell. The structure came crashing down, flattening the horde inside. Now those things are buried under layers of concrete, probably more dust than flesh at this point. And if any are still alive, they're definitely not getting out from that pile. Suddenly, the soldier glances at Minsuk and catches him looking straight up terrified. Egghead laughs it off, roasting him like, what, you think zombies are just gonna pop out the rubble now? But yeah, that's when Karma decides to join the party. Because right then, a monstrous zombie lumbers up from behind like a horror movie final boss. This behemoth of a creature looms over the soldier, flashing its nightmare tear mutated face. Egghead speechless, mouth wide open, eyes bugging out, and our guy Minsuk, well, he hesitated a little too long and he's about to pay for it. The Titan zombie winds up and throws a punch. That literally erases the poor soldier in one hit. But we're not done yet. Next, the thing sets its sights on Chahiri and nearly clips her too. Luckily, her reflexes kick in and she dodges just in time. Her squad's left rattled, wondering where the hell that thing even came from. She doesn't wait around, instantly calls her team to light it up. Gunfire rains down on this monster. The big Chungus here just tanks it like he's built from steel. Bullets, useless. The creature roars like a demon and lunges forward. It starts the carnage with a brutal uppercut, 3 soldiers down in one swing. Another guy freezes in fear, and for whatever reason, the zombie uses both arms just to smash him like a bug. Chahiri jumps in again, tossing her backpack to distract the beast, and dragging the poor guy out of harm's way. She scolds him, if he wants to stay alive, he better stop panicking. But even Chahiri's rattled now. She's realizing this thing isn't like any of the others. Her main concern shifts back to the mart, it's their only fallback. She rallies everyone to head that way. Meanwhile, Minsuk tries to sneak in a quick chat, but Chahiri instantly snaps, telling him to zip it and haul ass. Problem is, Damie's starting to fall behind, and that kicks Minsuk's dad mode into overdrive. Budget Nami clone spins back around, locking eyes with that grotesque zombie lump. And throwing all he's got into one haymaker, Minsuk charges the thing barehanded, ready to throw hands like it's personal. Meanwhile, we cut to Chahiri's POV. She's working to bait the mutant zombie toward a reinforced wall they rigged just outside the mart. That barricade, built like a tank, not even that towering freak could smash through it. With this trap, she's hoping to buy enough time to figure out where to hit the thing where it hurts. But then panic creeps in as she notices a group of civilians chilling on the building's first floor. Quick pause, shout out to Captain Guac because let's be honest, Chahiri's killing it out here. Anyway, things just went from bad to worse. Seeing innocent folks stuck there flips everything. Chahiri slams the brakes on the plan, throwing out a curse under her breath. There's no way she's letting this monster get close to them. She makes the call to go full solo bait. Now that, folks, is how you build a badass female lead. But when she glances back at Dami, she's shocked Minsuk's nowhere to be seen. She's instantly furious, thinking this dude ditched his own kid after everything she did to help. Dami quickly gestures in another direction, hinting that Minsuk's actually over there, still caked in dirt but standing his ground. What Chihari sees next leaves her completely speechless. She watches as Minsuk goes full beast mode, bashing that zombie's skull over and over like he's cracking open a coconut. He finishes the monster off with a brutal final hit, and even the veteran troops around him are stunned into silence. The beatdown's so nasty, even the bystanders can't bring themselves to watch. With the threat dealt with, Minsuk just calmly catches his breath, like he didn't just solo a kaiju with his fists. Chihari's staring at him now, visibly disturbed and totally confused. And what's the first thing Minsuk does? He turns to Dami and straight up apologizes. He admits he broke his promise by stepping in, but he couldn't let her get hurt. He values her safety more than guarding his secret. Only now things get trickier. Chihari's got major trust issues flaring up, so much so that she whips out her gun and aims it dead at him, demanding answers. Dude's looking like a jacked Greek statue, and in that moment Minsuk gives his official intro. He slowly removes his shades, and that move alone makes Dami panic. She knows if he reveals the truth, they might execute him on the spot. Then comes the mic drop. He calls himself a zombie, and then casually adds expert to it like it's a job title. Everyone goes silent. Even Chihari and Dami are frozen, staring like, what the hell does that even mean? Now it's Gaslighter Promex time. Minsuk explains that ever since this nightmare began, he's been studying the infected, figuring out what takes them down. That's how he knew how to drop that beast earlier. And now he's offering to help the group. At first, Chihari chuckles, thinking it's a joke, but then she just snaps, pulls a blade, presses it to his neck. She doesn't buy this zombie expert nonsense for 1 second. Dami tries to step in, but Chihari shuts her down hard. Bottom line is, no normal guy should be able to beat a zombie that shrugged off bullets with just his fists. Even worse, those crimson eyes of his, they look exactly like the infected. Chihari leans in, practically breathing the same air, and asks the big question, are you even human anymore? No joke, her face is like 2 inches from his at this point. But Zombie Papa stays calm and says the bullets from earlier actually did real damage. Chihari squints, confused, so he clarifies. The zombie was already pretty banged up from the gunfire, he just showed up to deliver the final punch. He then gives them the breakdown. That monster was what's called an eater class. Basically, it's a fusion-type zombie, like a bunch of undead crammed into one giant nightmare. Yeah, these things pulled a full-on Dragon Ball Z fusion and came out built different. Their combined bodies make them insanely tough. But even these tanks have a weak point, you aim for the neck. While explaining, Minsuk reminds himself that he hasn't technically lied about anything. Sure, no normal person could take one down with just punches. Chihari squints at his eyes and he casually says it's a genetic thing. He lacks melanin in his irises. That's why he hides them. People always stare, just like she's doing now. With both concerns addressed, Minsuk flips the script. He asks her point-blank if she still thinks he's infected. Chihari doesn't respond right away. Her expression says it all, she's still not sold. Something about this guy just feels off. But deep down, there's one thing that keeps her from pulling the trigger. If he really was a zombie, there's no way he'd be risking everything to protect his daughter. Because of that, Chihari finally gives in and steps aside, letting the two of them crash inside the mall. As she turns away with a dramatic exit worthy of Jupiter's spotlight, she tosses a parting warning at Minsuk, telling him she's got eyes on him, Mr. Zombie Expert. Right after that, Chihari takes a beat to absorb the loss of her squad. She's visibly torn up over it. 2 of her men rush over, worried about how she's holding up. She wastes no time, slamming one guy's knee out with a brutal takedown that drops him instantly. Turns out that wasn't random. It's her way of punishing them for completely botching her orders. These bozos failed to get the civilians to the lower level like she said, which nearly turned the whole place into a disaster zone. When she finds out they panicked and blanked on the plan, she's even more furious. That screw-up could have gotten everyone in the mall killed. And the way she glares at them makes it crystal clear. She promises flat out, mess up again and she'll be the one ending them. Then she storms off, still fuming. Meanwhile, the guy who just got dropped. Yeah, he's simmering with anger, something's definitely brewing there. Anyway, back inside the mart, the survivors are taking a breather, including Minsuk and Dami. Dami's just relieved that her dad's secret didn't leak. She was seriously freaking out when he started talking. She can't believe how he lied through his teeth like it was nothing. Minsuk admits he had to go all in. Chihari's not the kind of person who buys nonsense easily. The way he talks about her makes Dami suspicious, like do they have history or something? That comment triggers a wave of memories crashing into Minsuk. Truth is, in tons of his past loops, he ended up building a solid bond with the captain. That's why he knows her so well. But of course, he keeps that little detail away from Dami. What surprises her even more is that he knows slang like bluff, a word apparently reserved for the kid crowd these days. Minsuk grins and tells her that she's the one who taught him that. After living through 100 lifetimes with her, he's picked up a lot. She's kinda impressed, even if she doesn't remember a thing. As Minsuk heads off to find her a good meal, Damie tries hard to dig through her mind for any memories. Watching her puzzled little face just makes him smile even more. You see, when he first got his strange new powers, Damie made him promise he had to keep his abilities secret no matter what. Because if people ever found out what he was, they'd lash out from fear. That's how they decided to keep the truth locked up. And honestly, Damie was totally right. While walking through the mart, Minsuk's running it all through his head. If anyone finds out who he really is, panic could spread like wildfire. Eventually, he makes his way back with food in hand. When he gets there, Damie's already fast asleep, out cold from exhaustion. He gently tucks her in, making sure she's warm and comfy. Then shifts focus to the big issue. The infected are evolving way faster than ever. And it's not just speed, he remembers hundreds of them swarming his door on day one. Mutations are popping up left and right, and it's only been a week. That rapid change, completely off the charts compared to any previous loop. More variables, more chaos. So the real question bouncing in his head is, why are the zombies transforming so fast? And his best guess, he thinks it's his fault. Scene shifts to the outskirts of the city. Dozens, no. Hundreds of mutated undead are closing in. And every time they step closer, Minsuk can feel it, like they're tuned to him. As if they're not just attacking random humans, they're coming for him. Maybe they fear him, maybe they hate that he even exists. But one thing's obvious, he's a threat to them just as much as they are to him. So what does our guy do? He walks straight out of town to face them head on. Just one man standing in the middle of nowhere, waiting for a crowd of monsters like it's another Tuesday. And of course he brought a ladder. Yeah, my dude's adding bonus style points just for fun. As the horde locks eyes on him, Minsuk smirks and welcomes them to throw hands. Step 1, he snaps the ladder in two, now dual-wielding the deadliest DIY weapons mankind's ever seen. He plans to end this mess before Damie even wakes up, because he still needs to cook her breakfast. And the energy this man is putting out. It's unreal. Naturally, the undead mob charges straight in, ready to dogpile him into mush. Dozens pile over each other just to get a taste. But Ladderman doesn't flinch. He barrels into them like a storm, cracking heads, swinging chunks of ladder and blitzing through the wave before they can even blink. He's not just fighting walkers, these are enhanced types, mutations, eaters, you name it. And he's wrecking them like they're made of cardboard. One clean hit and boom, an eater class drops like a sack of bricks. With that thing turned into zombie jam, he spins around just in time to see a swarm of mutated freaks toss some kind of explosive move at him. Yep, guess what? Apparently undead can shoot energy bombs now. But no sweat because Ladderman pulls off an aerial leap, slams down with a seismic smash, and wipes the whole bunch in one hit. He also pulls out his dual axes and starts going full blender mode, slicing through them even quicker than before. Time stretches as he unleashes wave after wave of destruction. Then a hideous six-armed mutant tries to ambush him, only to get its face pancaked into the ground Gojo style. And just to flex, Minsuk cleanly decapitates it while glowing with pure rage mode. Meanwhile, back in Dreamland, Damie's still totally knocked out. Cut to the next scene and she finally stirs awake, gives a little stretch, then sees her dad standing right there. Yep, same guy who probably wiped a small army of monsters is now casually chillin'. And not just that, man's prepped breakfast too. A hot meal made with love, cause he knows she's gotta be starving after everything they went through. She lights up with a smile and digs right in. Next shot, jumps to the captain's base. Her crew just pulled up with some wild news. They heard some seriously loud ruckus last night, but what they found when they checked the area, totally unreal. Zombies gone, like every last one of them. She slams the desk, demanding answers. Like, did the infected go cannibal mode or what? Soldier says he couldn't believe it either, but he saw it with his own eyes. Every single one of those undead got flattened in just 4 hours. Then, a lightbulb moment. Chahiri tells the squad to gather all the survivors. This might be their golden ticket out of the mart. Switch to the survivors' POV. And they're seeing something they haven't seen in forever, a peaceful, blood-soaked morning. Yes, streets are still a mess, but for once not a single groan or growl anywhere. People are hyped, some even start wondering where the heck the zombies went. One guy even points out the total silence. The conclusion, somehow the entire area's been cleared out. And for these folks who have been trapped in terror 24/7, this feels like the first breath of peace they've had in ages. Even Damie's confused. She looks at her dad and says maybe the zombies really did vanish. Little does she know, her old man soloed a full raid on the entire surrounding district just last night. He gently places a helmet on her head and talks to her real calm. Minsuk gives her one rule only: whatever happens, don't take the helmet off. The way he says it, like something terrible might be coming. Damie can't help but wonder what he's really trying to say. Right then, Chahiri rolls up with her squad outside the mart, megaphone in hand. She raises it and immediately speaks up. confirming that all the zombies in the zone have been eliminated. The people straight up lose it. They cheer like they just won the lottery, but hold up, they're about to get hit with the plot twist. Chahuri follows up by saying everyone's evacuating the area right now. And the crowd's not having it. After all this, they finally caught a break. Why bounce now? They start pushing back, saying there's no point in leaving with no zombies around. So Chahuri drops new info. Just 3 days ago, they lost radio contact with another team, the 2nd Mechanized Infantry Brigade, and this ain't some average squad. These guys survived the hell that was the Gyeonggi region. Heavy armor, real soldiers, they've got the tools to keep people alive. Her speech is meant to offer hope, but instead, panic erupts. People don't want to gamble their lives on some maybe safe unknown spot. They start freaking out. Chahuri tries to keep it together, telling them she knows someone on the inside. A guy called the Blue Hawk, top-tier soldier, runs the brigade like a pro. Also, can we just say, dude's back muscles could lead a rebellion. But trust isn't automatic. Even if she knows him, the rest of these people don't. They're not willing to bet everything on one radio ping. Crowds boiling over and Chahuri's clearly reaching her limit. She explains they won't survive another wave if the zombies come back. But the group is locked in their false sense of safety, thinking the coast'll stay clear. One guy pops off and starts yelling. He accuses Chahuri of letting emotions get the better of her cause she's a woman. Seriously, this dude probably binge-watches Andrew Tate clips. What kind of brain-dead even is that? Shockingly, his dumb little rant gets some traction. Now people are turning the blame on her. Then silence, Minsuk finally speaks. With just a few icy words, he reminds everyone what's coming. Like it or not, the undead will be back. Same genius who trash-talked Chahuri tries to talk smack to him too. But Minsuk just stares him down and calmly explains that staying put is like ordering takeout for the next horde. He paints such a grim picture that it straight up breaks the dude's spirit. He even calls out the guy's delusions of logic, leaving him shaking in his boots. His daughter looks over, completely confused about what just scared her dad so bad. Back to Papa Minsuk, he's straight with them. There's no certainty they'll survive the journey either. Still, it's better than waiting around to be zombie chow. But the crowd is still clinging to doubt, so Minsuk flips the script. He tosses a question at them. What happens if they stop getting support from Chahuri's squad? If no one follows orders, then what? That lands hard. The crowd starts murmuring, debating, turning on each other. Then something shifts. A few people begin siding with her, realizing they're toast without actual protection. Glasses guy, basically Clark Kent, speaks up. Says the only reason they've survived so far is thanks to her team. That one line, it changes everything. Hope floods back in. They start cheering, rallying behind Chahuri's lead again. Even though she technically won the crowd over, Chahuri just stands there, completely floored by what just went down. She was totally done listening to the crowd whining. But then this so-called zombie expert throws out one line and boom, the whole squad's suddenly riding with her. Now her brain's running wild trying to figure out who this blonde dude is and how he keeps pulling off miracle-level clutch saves. Minsuk, man straight up, says he doesn't even want the credit before she can even thank him, almost like he's reading her thoughts out loud. Here's the thing with Minsuk, dude lived through like 100 lifetimes full of life-or-death encounters where talking his way out was the only option. That's why he knows exactly how to handle this kind of chaos. At the same time, he tells Chahuri it's not about the group or glory. He's just here to keep Dami safe. Then, with total confidence, he reaches out and tells her he's putting his full trust in her to lead everyone to safety, and she's absolutely stunned he'd believe in her that much. But she pushes that thought aside and focuses up, announcing it's time to roll out. Claiming the title of Captain Chahuri, she promises not a single person will be left behind. Flash forward, and now with buses and backup vehicles at their disposal, the group pushes through the roadways coated in blood and gore. Quick shot of Dami looking annoyed, probably from that ridiculous helmet or cuz she couldn't sit with her dad. Up front, Chahuri is in full command mode, steering them clear of any major threats. And finally, they make it past the Han River, a big win considering the state of the world. Still, Chahuri keeps her cool and tells the crew to stay alert, cause things are far from over. Sure enough, their recon units spot a nightmare. Crowd of zombies way up ahead. These things are stacked on top of each other just to push closer. Chahuri immediately calls the play. Civilians and Team C head right, she and her squad cut left. And since we're here, let's talk zombie mechanics. One huge weakness. Their hearing's way sharper than their vision. So what's the move? Well, Chahuri grabs a bunch of noisy cans and launches them like missiles right into the zombies' faces. The sound overload makes them freak out hard, sending them into rage mode. It's not just a distraction, it's bait. They want the zombies to chase after their vehicle. With the trap set, Chahuri orders the drivers to floor it. The idea is to outpace the undead, even though these things run like they're training for an Olympic event. Yeah, we've got a full-on zombie track team on our hands. The gap's closing fast, so she pulls the trigger on Plan B, lead M to the bridge. Now here's the kicker, the bridge is already destroyed. But remember that second zombie flaw. These things don't care about logic, their only instinct is to chase down people no matter what. Using that, Chahari tells the drivers to slam the wheel and pull a hard turn before they hit the drop. Meanwhile, the horde's barreling in too fast to stop, ending in a full-blown zombie pileup off the edge. Chahari's truck swings around and starts mowing down whatever stragglers remain. Problem is, the fight's not done. Tons of the freaks are still shambling nearby, so time for trait number 3. Their backs are their weakest point. In other words, aim for the booty. Which is exactly what Min-suk does as he shows up with the ultimate zombie-crushing machine, a full-on road roller. This beast of a vehicle turns bodies into pancake batter on contact. Honestly, the way this man is handling this thing, I'd pay money to see a farming sim crossover edit right now. Too bad for the zombies, Min-suk's on a demolition spree. Some of them even run straight at the roller like it's gonna end differently. Spoiler, it doesn't. Watching this massacre play out leaves Chahari and her troops completely stunned. Thanks to the roller's size, Min-suk shoves wave after wave off the bridge, dumping them into the ocean like garbage. Cut to Damie and the civilians. She's still annoyed. Flashback reveals it's because she begged her dad not to get involved. Her biggest fear, his secret getting exposed to the wrong people. Hey, fast forward to now, he's alive and well. And yeah, it turns out the One Piece is real, folks. Funny thing is, back then, he told her he was just gonna help Chahari's team a little. Now he's back looking like the final boss of a construction-based fighting game. Girl's speechless. Then Chahari jumps out and yells for everyone to stay behind her. Because yep, another group of raging zombies is charging right at them. Too bad for the undead. Min-suk's out here steamrolling through the horde like it's lawn mowing day. That road roller clears everything in his path, carving a zombie-free highway for the survivors to pass through. And just like that, the group officially escapes the death zone. After a brutal stretch of non-stop survival mode, they finally set foot in the fortified camp of the 2nd Brigade. Let's break it down real quick. This squad has been one of the most reliable checkpoints in almost every timeline Min-suk's been through. They're basically the last pit stop before making it to the promised land of Daejeon. So the fact they made it here in just 8 days, yeah, that's insane, practically speedrunning the apocalypse. Still, Min-suk's dad instincts kick in hard. He knows the second he lets his ego take over. Boom, Damie gets taken and he's left powerless all over again. So even in this loop, he's sticking to the exact same script he used in all the others: minimal changes, maximum control. In his mind, this is where the real war starts. But for now, Dude's getting props from everyone for leading the whole crew to safety. Even though the soldiers found the roller themselves, none of them could actually use the thing. That Min-suk knew how to handle it makes them wonder, was this guy in construction or something? Our boy quickly shuts that down. Says he just learned to use it so he'd stand a better chance out there. Bottom line, they made it with 0 losses and Chahari's genuinely thankful. She even gives him a proper thank you, which, of course, Min-suk instantly milks for a second round, teasing her into saying it again. She hits him with a sharp shut up and ends the moment on the spot. Right then, Sergeant Lee In of the 2nd Infantry Brigade steps in, saluting Chahari with mad respect. Turns out they were expecting her. Chahari's caught off guard, they knew she was coming. Sergeant confirms that Colonel Cha Pung-ho gave them a heads up. Then casually adds that the colonel told them to watch out for a certain hard-headed female officer. Cue the squad cracking up. Yeah, she is not amused. Chahari shoots them all a look that could melt steel and demands to know where the colonel is. She's told he's currently at the back gate, where a fresh batch of zombies just showed up out of nowhere. Now she's freaking out. Dude went out there with just a squad. The sergeant tries to calm her down and insists that's not what happened. But the way he nervously laughs and avoids eye contact, yeah, she's not buying it. Here's what really went down. Colonel Cha Pung-ho didn't go out with backup. He went solo, because that's just the kind of insane legend he is. Cut to the rear gate. A few soldiers in the watchtower are counting down the colonel's clear time like it's a video game leaderboard. They cheer as he wipes out the horde in 35 minutes flat. Apparently, Pung-ho prefers blades to bullets. He swears by his axe, calling it the ultimate zombie slayer. He literally makes the fight harder just because he enjoys watching heads roll. So yeah, meet the Blue Hawk, war hero, commander of the 2nd Brigade, and a guy who thinks zombies are beneath him. His troops beg him to start using guns. Because if this dude ever does turn into a zombie, game over for everyone. But Pung-ho just laughs, saying there's no way a bunch of rotting corpses could ever lay a finger on him. In his mind, these things are crawling in slow motion. He's on a whole different level, and he's cracked their entire playbook. Bro even roasts his own men, calls them useless weight, which is why he never lets them fight alongside him. They're salty, sure, but they know he's spitting facts. Having wiped the whole field solo, the colonel starts feeling the ache in his joints. That old man wear and tear is catching up. Still, he's low-key bored. Zombies are too easy. Nobody's stepped up to give him a real challenge in forever. Well, ask and you shall receive. One of the supposed dead eater-class zombies suddenly rises up. Not just moving, it's grinning at him. It bolts at Pung-ho like a cursed night terror, but right before it makes contact, bam, Minsuk enters with the road roller, turning it into monster puree. The soldiers can't even process what just happened, and Pengho, he instantly locks onto Minsuk. Now on full alert, remember earlier when he claimed he could feel a zombie's strength? Well, right now, he senses something terrifying wrapped around Minsuk's body, like a walking embodiment of death. It's throwing him off because Minsuk looks totally normal. Just a chill dude helping Chahiri's squad, talking like everything's fine. But Pengho's instincts are screaming. He immediately swings his axe with everything he's got. And no, this isn't just a warning hit, he goes full send. The soldiers watching think their colonel's lost his mind, attacking a civilian like that. But what happens next silences them all. Minsuk catches the axe with one hand at full speed. No blood, no struggle, just snatches it midair. Pengho is straight up horrified. He calls for a level red alert right then and there, declaring that the man in front of them isn't human, he's a threat. And Minsuk gets it. He knows this guy isn't like the others. No chance he's getting away with playing dumb. So he drops Pengho's full name mid-sentence, just to mess with him, then shatters the axe into pieces with a single punch. Cool as ever, he says he wants to stick around and help, but he knows that words aren't gonna cut it with this colonel. He's gotta do it Pengho style. The colonel catches the shift in his stance instantly. That fighting posture, it's an open challenge. Without a second thought, Pengho unhooks his straps. It's go time. In the wild part, he's shocked that Minsuk even knew how to bait him like this. Bro's fought dozens of maniacs over the years, but nothing prepared him for a dude like Minsuk, someone who already understands exactly how his brain works. The moment Pengho locks eyes on Minsuk, he rockets down like a heat-seeking missile, dead set on figuring out what kind of anomaly this guy even is. Right after that, we cut to the squad moving in, lighting up a code red alert to warn everyone on base. Chahiri is stunned, blurting out what the hell is going on, but the soldiers aren't giving her any answers just yet. They're sticking to orders, plain and simple. Then bam, Captain Guak just shows up out of nowhere, and before Chahiri can even get a word out, he's already shoving a gun in her face, instantly ticking her off. Turns out the guy's on edge because the creature that ambushed their leader earlier, it apparently mentioned her name. So now he's grouping her in as a potential threat. She's still confused about the whole monster part, until the soldiers spell out Minsuk's full name, quoting him directly. Thing is, nobody really knows who this guy is. Not unless you're one of the outsiders that just rolled up to their base. And the one totally panicking, it's Damie. She's terrified for her dad. Back at the fight, Minsuk's throwing hands like he's channeling peak Saitama. One swing and boom, a concrete wall gets completely wrecked, which freaks out Pengho enough to make him leap back. That busted wall, proof that this guy's on a whole other level. Pengho even scoffs at how this dude is still trying to pass as a normal human. Then when he throws a kick, Minsuk blocks it like it's nothing, and in a literal blink, disappears and circles all the way around him. Minsuk is fired up and ready to drop him. But props to Pengho, he's still lightning fast, dodging the strike even while caught off guard. In the same moment, the colonel lands a solid hit, clocking Minsuk right in the face and actually doing some damage. Yeah, this guy's going toe-to-toe with a superpowered zombie and not backing down. Respect. They both pause for air. And that's when Pengho grabs Minsuk by the collar, calling him out for holding back this whole time and not going full throttle. And honestly, that's exactly why he managed to survive that earlier punch. Minsuk just nods and admits it, he's been pulling his punches. Because if he really turned it up to 100, Pengho wouldn't be standing right now. And this isn't just some punk talking trash after losing a fight. This is coming from the same guy who just broke a wall with one hand. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's the truth. Ever since they started scrapping, every instinct in the colonel's body has been screaming that he's outmatched. Still confused, Pengho demands to know what his deal is. And Minsuk, he calmly says he's only here to ask for protection. That response sends the colonel into a full-on laugh right in his face. And honestly, can you blame him? The strongest guy alive just asked for help, who wouldn't laugh? But then Minsuk lays it out, he doesn't care about himself. It's Damie he's worried about. She's stuck with the soldiers right now, standing beside Chahiri, and he just wants her to be safe. That's all he wants, a spot in the brigade where his daughter won't be in danger. And yeah, words alone aren't enough. So Minsuk drops to his knees, no ego, no pride, just a dad willing to give it all up if it means keeping her alive. He even says he'll do anything the colonel demands as long as his daughter gets to stay safe. Later that night, we shift to the civilian bunker inside the brigade. It's where they house regular survivors. But something's changed. Once they hear the word monster tied to Room and Siak, the room fills with tension. Everyone's getting paranoid, pointing out the weird stuff about his strength, his strange eyes. People start whispering, thinking maybe he's one of the infected. And Minsuk, after everything he did for the colonel earlier, he's still locked up and chained down. He remembers the colonel's promise, that he'd keep Damie and the rest under protection. But when it comes to Minsuk himself, that's where things get complicated. A guy like him, leaving him unsupervised could be a massive risk. That decision, yeah, that was actually Minsuk's own call. He straight up suggested they lock him up for as long as it takes, just so the brigade and its people know he's not out here causing chaos. He figured it's the only way to earn their trust. And even though he's stuck alone right now, Damie can't help but sneak in to visit him. From the other side, she throws him a big grin and cheers him on. For Minsuk, just seeing her safe like that, it's everything. She lets him know that once the code red got lifted, the soldiers actually treated them well, like really well. So well that she even got permission to see her dad. Also Loki, she couldn't stand how cramped it was in the shelter. After everything he's endured for her, Minsuk still feels like he failed. He tells her sorry, says he broke a promise. That throws her off a bit. But in his head, he's convinced she's disappointed, that he let her down again. But then she slams her hand on the window and shuts that thought down hard. She reminds him loud and clear. If it wasn't for him going all in, none of these civilians would have had a safe place to crash. And instead of him moping around, she gives him the biggest smile and tells him to actually take a second to feel proud. Even if people still side-eye him, she knows what he did mattered. Honestly, I feel bad for the guy too. Dude gave it his all and people still don't get it, but Damie, she gets it. She tells him again she believes in him no matter what. The moment ends with her realizing she's got a dip. Roll call S coming up. And she can't be late. She waves him goodbye and bolts, leaving Minsuk quietly smiling through the glass, just glad he got to see her. But here's the real part. Every step Damie takes away from that room, her emotions catch up to her. Eventually she starts crying, proof that whole cheerful act earlier, that was all for him. And Minsuk's no different. Yeah, they both held it together in the moment. But deep down, they're wrecked about being apart. Suddenly, a small sliver of light cuts through the tension. Someone steps into Minsuk's holding cell. It's Sergeant Lee In. He's there to take Minsuk to see the colonel. Next scene, we're in the war room. Cha Peng-ho's got a map laid out, finger on a specific point. It's a station that might still be holding survivors. They just picked up a signal not long ago, so there's a chance people are still alive there. But along with those pings, they also caught some strange static, something they can't explain yet. Whatever it is, they need to move fast, and they can't afford to bloat the team. That's why Cha Peng-ho picked only 2 people for this job, himself and Minsuk. That's it, just those 2. And I don't know about you, but I've got a feeling this 2-man squad is about to absolutely fold some zombies. But this mission isn't just about saving people, it's also a test. The colonel wants to see what Minsuk's really made of. Is he just talk, or will he actually go all the way for his daughter? And the second Minsuk hears that, he shatters the chains like they were made of string. Just straight up snaps message received. He's had the power to walk free this whole time, but he stayed locked up just for Damie's sake, he asks when they're rolling out. And Cha Peng-ho cracks a grin. Then comes the signal, they're heading out right now. And man, the way both of them step into that final frame, they're dripping with energy. You already know those zombies are about to get clapped. Welcome to the Goopebble Station Rescue Arc, let's ride.